Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another week, another installation of F1 Live on Instagram Live. Hope you're all keeping well as the world begins to come out of lockdown, and we have a Formula One season ahead of us. Finally, we know where we're going to be, we know where we're going to be racing, so massively exciting times ahead for all of us, for all of you guys, as we know now we're going to get back to racing. So can't wait for that, can't wait to get on the plane. However, we're going to get out to Austria and get this thing started. It's going to be quite the season, and really looking forward to it. But I know one person you really want to hear from. Certainly want to hear from him as well. He's been keeping us entertained all the way through lockdown. Get your questions in for him because Mr. Daniel Ricciardo is joining us. How are you?
Good day, good sir.
How's
going
things?
on?
Still not a lot here. We're still sort of locked down. But how are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Just doing the thing. I'm back in Europe now, so I said goodbye to Australia. It was emotional, but it was all right. I was pretty lucky out there, to be honest. Lockdown and isolation was fairly straightforward out there. So. But yeah, I heard the UK was like sunny and amazing a week ago, but it ain't that anymore.
No, that's gone. Did you sort of take that away when you arrived?
Yeah, when we were coming into land, the pilot's like, yeah, it's 12 and raining or something. So, and this was like midday. So
yeah. It's been beautiful for 2 weeks, and now it's completely gone. So
okay,
so thanks for that.
It wasn't a lie. It wasn't a lie.
No, it was. It was beautiful. How was Australia though? Because I mean, obviously we were there for the Grand Prix, and we were there for 48 hours. You've been there for the last 2 months. How's it been? How's lockdown treated you? Has it been an odd experience for you?
It was odd at first, I think, but I don't know. Like, I guess define odd. It wasn't really that odd in terms of like I had a routine. I had pretty good weather for the most part, and I think because like getting so close to racing in Australia, like mentally, physically, I was there and ready, and I wanted to go. So getting back home to Perth, I was still, I don't know, I still wanted to keep the engine ticking over, so to speak. And so I just kind of stayed into it and stayed into the training and that routine, like the good routine, and kind of kept my health and diet, in good shape. And I don't know, I felt like if I let myself, because at that point, the tough part in a way was not knowing when we'd get going again.
Yeah.
But I was like, if I use that as an excuse to like just sit on the couch and do nothing, then I don't know. So I just kept everything ticking, and it was good. And as I said, we were pretty lucky with like the weather. I was out on the farm, so I had plenty of space to kind of move around and stay active and stay sane. So it was good. And like I think Australia in general did a pretty good job with the lockdown and keeping things kind of under wraps pretty well. We didn't get too much exposure of all this COVID stuff, particularly in Perth. So it was pretty straightforward, and it's the most time I've spent home in like 13 years. So that was pretty wild.
Social distancing doesn't seem quite so difficult when you've got all that expanse of land. But as you say, like the most time you spent in one place and at home in 13 years. I've asked so many of you guys about this, but in your entire lives, you have been traveling constantly since you were 5-6 years old, racing, competing. Is 6 months between the end of last season and getting back to starting racing, is that a good thing for you? Has it allowed you to reset, or has it made you a bit kind of competitively, at least not physically, but a little bit soft because you've suddenly got all this time where you're not competing?
Not soft. I think if anything, it's just more fuel to the fire, and it was nice to have some alone time and time to think and process. Like it certainly fueled my desire more. I missed racing, more than ever, and I missed competing, and I missed the the limelight, all the sort of stuff, if you know what I mean, that goes with it. I kind of, I missed it all. So it, yeah, I mean, not that I'd lost love for it at all, but, it just reiterated my love for competing in the sport and my job. And I think, this was like, we travel so much, as and you kind of just get into it, and you go and you go and you go, but sometimes you don't really get a chance to stop. And it was, in a way, nice to be forced to stop. I think just for our bodies, actually, not being in pressurized cabins all the time and all that sort of stuff. It's probably given us a few more, from a performance point of view, maybe given me a couple more years, onto my career. So like, I see positives in it.
Good. Do you think you're going to be rusty when you get back? I mean, so many people have been, doing sim racing and, sort of racing in the virtual world. Do you think you're going to miss a competitive edge when you get back, or is it going to be straight back into it and it'll just click back in straight away?
I'm sure for some they might feel a few cobwebs here and there, but for myself, nah, I'm good. I'm good to go. As I said, I didn't really switch off, from that point of view. And even like on the farm, I got some, buggies and a few things to like keep me sharp. And so I was still kind of keeping this up here active and strong. And whether it was riding bikes, buggies, dodging trees, like I was there. So yes, I haven't been racing F1, but I've certainly kept everything firing to a point where I don't fear being rusty. I'm sure when the green light, goes out, or the red lights go out, yeah, we're all going to be kind of chomping at the bit, and you might see some erraticness from some, I guess. Like one might be a bit, however, but yeah, it's. I'll be there. I'll be ready.
You talk about lockdown. You talk about having that time, that space. We got to talk about it, even though you're wearing the Renault cap, and they don't always ask too many questions about it, obviously. But you're off to McLaren. Did that space give you kind of the freedom and the time to really make that decision, or did you find that having so much time with so little to do kind of allowed you to get almost carried away with your thoughts and get into a confusing space? How hard was it to make that decision?
I guess there was a bit of both. Yeah, like having a lot of time to think about things like the future was good, but then it also was sometimes not easy, because you've got all this time but not much action, I guess. Yeah. So that was certainly difficult. The whole year has been crazy for things even beyond coronavirus now, that it's, having these decisions, or making these decisions, with only testing to go by this year, that wasn't easy. And, for sure, ideally, you race, you get going, and you kind of make your mind up and whatever. But yeah, we're not kind of in those times now with that, I guess, that luxury in a way. So yeah, not easy, but at the same time, not an overnight decision. Yeah. But yeah, it's, I guess I would just say this whole year's been weird. It continues to be weird. But yeah, it's, I don't know how else to answer it, really.
No, that's cool. And you've got, we know now we've got racing in 2020. We're getting back to it in Austria. How much are you looking forward to it, to getting back to racing, but also to, seeing out this last year with Renault and I guess really kind of leaving on a high?
That's like I think a big relief for everyone, is like once they announced like the official start date, it was like, all right, we can kind of see the end of the tunnel now, and we can get going. Yeah. And yeah, absolutely. Like I'm hanging out, obviously, to race, to compete, but to finish this kind of journey and this chapter off with Renault in the best way possible. And I still feel like I owe a lot to them on and off track. So, I'm glad that we can compete soon and try and do what I can. So yeah, it's I'm pretty excited to say the least. As I'm sure everyone around the world is, to get some sports going again. I'm a
Yeah.
fan of like the UFC, and they've got that going. Which it's as a fan, just to see something on TV, it's like, oh, finally. You realize how much we miss sports, but yeah, fortunately, I'll be in the hot seat soon and give everyone something to watch on TV.
Totally. Today, of course, is the anniversary of your first race win. I had a brilliant video lined up for it, but for some reason it's not loaded up into the chat, so I'm just gonna have to ask you about it instead. Crazy race.
Okay.
Amazing
It was.
memories. What are your memories of that day?
Oh, yeah, June the 8th. So it is a special day for me. One that for sure I'll never forget. Memories. I still remember everything, vividly that whole weekend, actually, even, things through qualifying and the Saturday night. But yeah, I remember the first part of the race was fairly just, just whatever. It was a race, a normal race. And then things started heating up, and uh, I don't know. I felt like my pace as well through the race got stronger. So I think the first set of tires, first part, I was just, as I said, it was just I was there, but not really having much of an impact. And then after the pit stop, that's where it kind of came alive. And yeah, it was Perez, in front of me, and he was driving a terrific race and just trying to find a way past him. And yeah, eventually got on the grass, and then obviously Rosberg was a little bit easier with the problems that he was having. So, but then I had the high of crossing the line for the first time in the lead. But then I could see still they were collecting Massa's car and Perez's car from the barrier, so it was, my celebrations were a bit reserved.
Yeah,
because I was obviously not sure what their health was at that point. But yeah, once I got confirmation that they were okay, then I started to let out a little bit more shock and excitement and all the rest of it.
amazing, amazing.
Yeah,
I
and
want to bring some.
I remember Seb on the podium, like, filled me with champagne, and I was like actually kind of hyperventilated. It was like, if you ever go surfing and you get dunked by a wave, I was like coming up for air. That's how much champagne he got me with. So I remember a little bit of panic on the podium, actually.
I didn't know that. That's amazing. So he almost drowned in champagne on the podium.
Yeah, I don't know if that was him like congratulating me or him like kind of saying, "Damn you for getting, your first win." I don't know. That's good.
Actually, do you know what? That's one of the questions we've got here. You talk about almost getting drowned by him. What are your good memories of Sebastian Vettel? Obviously, big news about him over the last few months as well. Who knows what his future has? But you two were teammates. You've known each other a long time. You must have some good memories with Seb.
Yeah, I did, and I do still. I was, I think really the thing I took from that year with Seb was, even through a difficult year for his standards, particularly coming off 4 in a row, he was always a very, on track, as he is, very competitive and I guess ruthless, but off track, he always shook my hand, congratulated me, and it seemed, not only was he, I think, a good sportsman to me, but it seemed very honest and genuine, and he did it away from the cameras as well, so I think we had a lot of, I obviously respected him from the start, but I think, yeah, we had respect for each other, and that was cool. And yeah, I guess he does things, relatively differently. He's such a superstar in our sport, yet he, kind of, well, he's not on here, for example. He's not on social media or anything. Like he does things a little bit old school. But I guess I respect that path as well. He's not really influenced by too much. He's got his ways and he stands by them.
Very cool. This is quite a pertinent one. What do you like about Austria, other than the fact that we're going to get to go racing there in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, look, first thing that comes to my mind is schnitzel.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Obviously, I spent a lot of time in Austria, with my Red Bull days and as a junior, and yeah, I mean, one thing I was always was excited to go back there for was schnitzel. So, and they do it with have you had it with the cranberry jam and the lemon
and the potato salad?
It's a beautiful thing.
It's pretty much unbeatable. Every night in Austria, same dinner every night, regardless.
It's good.
It really is good. I mean, that part of Austria is beautiful as well. It's a great track. You know, what's everyone thinking about the fact we're doing 2 races in Austria, a track that has suited Red Bull so well over these last few years? They could get a really good run on everyone in these opening races.
Yeah, exactly. I know that they'll be pretty excited to see that. You know, 2 in a row there to start the season. Yeah, it's an interesting track, you know, because it's quite a short lap.
Yeah.
But it's you know, it starts off with long straights, tight corners, but then the last kind of 2/3 of the track is really fast and flowing. So it's as kind of short as the lap is, it's got a bit of everything. And yeah, the last few years the races have been pretty exciting there. So we were you know, a fair bit off there last year, but I'm actually excited to go back there not only once but twice. And you know, I think we learned a bit after the race last year, so chance to prove ourselves a little better.
Here we go. This is a difficult one to answer because we don't really know what the season's going to look like yet. But what do you expect from 2020 once we get back up and running?
I don't know what to expect this year. I mean, I guess, like, from a racing point of view, I expect kind of normal, if that makes sense. Like, I expect, yeah, just the top teams to, you know, still be there, the ones for us to all catch, and the racing to kind of be as it is in terms of. I don't mean that in a negative way. Just yeah, I don't envisage the racing or anything to change. You know, we're not going to have fans and crowds and whatever, but the on-track battles and the, you know, the who's in the championship hunt, you know, I expect that to all be, you know, as expectations were pre-corona and all that.
So this is an interesting question that's just come in.
I like that you can see the questions. This is quite cool.
Good, right?
Technology.
What do you think about a reverse grid? Because obviously this came up last week. There was the potential for the second race in Austria and Silverstone, that qualifying would be a reverse championship order race, and then the result of that race would be the grid for the actual Grand Prix on Sunday. So let's say you've got you know, Max and Alex finished the first Grand Prix in Austria, first weekend, they're first and second in the championship. They start last on the grid for this qualifying race, short qualifying race. The result of that would have been the grid for the Grand Prix for the second race. Would that have been something fun for you as a driver, or would it just have been too much potential for mayhem?
Good question, Aguado. Good question. Are you familiar with Ace Ventura?
Yes.
Good question, Aguado. Anyways. I don't know. Like, I'm not, I guess from this point, I don't know, like, no, I'm not always old school, but I guess I go back to probably, like, it's not it's not really the first on our priority list of things to change in the sport. Yeah, I'm not. I can see how, like, some fans would be like, yeah, it would be, you know, great to have the fast guys try and come through the field and all that. Like, so I see that point of view, but I don't know. I can see a lot of scenarios where it wouldn't work and it would just make things a little messy. And
Monaco, for example.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes, you've made probably the best point.
That's the most diplomatic answer I think I've ever heard you give to. Is this a new Daniel Ricciardo for 2020?
Yeah, I wasn't
diplomatic, politically correct.
Diplomatic. I don't know. I can see why, you know, from a couch potato as I am right now, it could be exciting. But yeah, I think from a purist and a real racing point of view, it's yeah. Nah. I don't think we need to go there just yet. That's probably the best way to say it.
Cool. Right. We have to wrap this up because we've had you for 20 minutes already.
Oh,
and,
really?
Thank you for your time very much. No, I got told, like, you know.
Oh, I don't have much else to do right now.
Well, should we take another couple of questions then? We'll take a few more. Let's run it. Let's
do
go
it.
for another.
Let's do it.
Oh, do you know what? Let's get this one in because, you know, tattoos. Any that you regret?
It's funny. Speaking of having a lot of time, like free time in this whole situation, I've actually spent some time looking at my tattoos. And like, one thing I have said, like, so to answer the question, no, I don't regret any. But I've kind of asked myself the question: if I was 30 years old without any tattoos, would I get tattoos today?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I probably wouldn't.
Really?
I don't know. Like, not that I. Well, when I say I probably wouldn't, the answer I gave myself is I probably wouldn't. But why? I don't know, because I don't regret any. But I think, like, probably the point I was trying to make to myself is, like, once you start, there is something about them which is, like, a little bit addictive. And
it's addictive, yeah.
I guess the artists only get better and better, you know, like tattooing is becoming more popular, more people are doing it, and so tattoos just seem to be getting better and better. So I think that is also what drives you to want more. It's like, oh, but that looks cooler, and oh, that's done even in a better way, so I'll get that now. And so maybe if I hadn't got any at this age, maybe I'd be like, like I kind of missed the boat, like whatever. I don't know, but yeah, I don't really regret any. I mean, like, not all of them have meaning or make sense. Like the rose on my hand, it's not significant to anything, but yeah, I don't dislike it. Just is what it is.
So none that you either want removed or covered up just yet.
No, I mean I've got no, it's cool. It's all good.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
I did get one, like, small one after a long day. Let's say that.
Oh, okay.
But,
excellent. Is that one of the ones which, when you're 70 years old, you'll look back on and either laugh or
I just laugh about it. Yeah, it's all good. It's not like in a bad area, but just, yeah, it was a very spontaneous, oh, let's go get a tattoo. Okay, we got a tattoo.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a nice one. As you say, you've got a few more weeks left of being a couch potato. What shows are you watching? Could be Netflix. Other streaming services are available, of course. Which one? What are you watching? What have you enjoyed over this break?
All right, so on the Netflix topic, so I'd already started it, but then I think during the break they dropped the last season of Ozark. So I finished Ozark, which, have you got onto Ozark yet, William?
I haven't started it. I don't, because he's like a comedy actor, and I don't know if I can do the whole serious thing. Is it really good? Okay.
You have the power.
Okay.
Ozark's amazing. Like, Bateman is just, for him to, I love when, like, actors or actresses kind of change their normal, if you know what I mean. Like, yeah, he's known for being a comedian, but he does it so well, and I believe he directed the show as well. So, like, just a multi-talented human. So I love Ozark. Money Heist, I'm nearly finished.
Okay.
Money Heist, do you want it?
No, but I watched White Lines, which is the one about Ibiza that's written by the same guy. Yeah.
I heard that one's good.
It's all right.
That one's one of the next ones on the list. But yeah, Money Heist, get around it. And then what else? I like a good docuseries.
Have you watched the one about the Chicago Bulls?
Oh, of course. Sorry, that was the ultimate.
It's just brilliant television, isn't it? It's just so good. Yeah,
I grew up a big fan of Jordan. I think probably as every kid, you know, in this generation. So to kind of relive it, like, you know, obviously, like, a lot of things I'd forgot about because I was a kid when I was a fan and watched it, and to go through it again, yeah, amazing. So
the soundtrack's incredible.
Strong. Yeah, you're a big music fan. Like, are they books or DVDs, or what am I looking at?
DVDs and books, and vinyl.
And vinyl, yeah, and good vinyl. Man. All right.
What about you talk about Bateman doing the whole comedy to serious? Have you seen The Morning Show with Steve Carell and Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon, all about like morning television in America?
One have not. but
Very
one
good.
have heard. It's good.
Very good, very good. It's
All
on,
right.
it's on Apple TV. I downloaded Apple TV to watch that and the Beastie Boys documentary, and I haven't seen the Beastie Boys documentary yet, but that's supposed to be
Ooh, I
amazing.
would like to see that. I would like to see that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
very cool. Right,
It's a good
we've done 5 minutes more than we should have done talking about TV. That's great, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. It's been great to catch up. Great to catch up. What are you most looking forward to? I mean, obviously getting in the car and racing, but you know, is there any side of the sport that you've really missed other than just the pure competitive aspect of it?
Hmm. Uh, I don't know. Like, yeah, I guess. I was gonna say it's probably just part of the competitive aspect. I was gonna say like just getting into like data and seeing where I can go faster and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, just getting back to work.
Yeah,
Even like jumping on the simulator. Just getting back behind the wheel. Simulators normally, because once we're racing, and like simulator is it's like you take it or leave it from a driving point of view. It doesn't really get you excited, I would say, a lot of the time. But now even that, I'm just like, yeah, let's get into it. Let's try some setup things, and I don't know. I just want to feed back to the engineer and just make progress and go. So I mean, traveling. It's been nice to not travel for a while, but yeah, I did miss a little bit of that. So yeah, traveling to Austria, eating schnitzel. Then we go Hungary after that.
yeah.
Hungary's pretty good. But yeah, I don't know what's going to be open. I don't know. Can I even get schnitzel? I don't
I
know.
think so long as your hotel serves it, you'll be just fine.
I'm sure I'll say. Quick question. What are you doing? Are you doing races? What's your
Uh, I,
sketch?
it changes by the day, but at the moment, it seems like it. It seems like there's going to be a presence for broadcasters. Will be there. There's going to be, I think, a small presence of written journalists as well. So, yeah, we'll be there doing the F1 digital thing and the pre-race and the post-race and all that. So, a lot of work. Like you, can't wait to get back to work and get reporting about this thing that we all love. Have you got a message for your fans who are so desperate to see you race?
Uh, Sit tight. Not long now. Yeah, I can't even sit still. So I'm excited to get going. As I said, I'm a sports fan, so I know how much it kind of sucks not to see kind of your favorite sport on TV and have something to follow. And so hang in there. We're going to be good to go soon. Yeah, I think that's it. Hopefully, I mean, then it gives us something to talk about, like more racing stuff as opposed to just speculating how the racing is going to go. We can talk
Yeah.
about how it went. So a bit easier to have a conversation.
Can't wait. Cannot wait. Well, look, hopefully I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time in Austria. Have fun in the upcoming days. I know a lot of you guys are doing sim work, maybe even some shakedowns. So whatever is coming, good luck. Have fun. Thanks for your time today, man. And we'll see you very, very soon.
No worries. Be well, everyone. See you, buddy.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye.
See ya.